Yeah. No. Oh god. I've told Elsa how I feel. I don't know if Elsa does Elsa care about spoilers.
Elsa doesn't care about spoilers.
Okay, excellent. Um, it was deeply bad as both an individual episode and as a part of a larger narrative. Because Chris Chibnall cannot write. I usually would end that sentence with writing dialogue or something like that, but I think in general I've now reached a conclusion that Chris Chibnall he can't write. So that's great. That's exactly what you want in your Doctor Who, I think, is just complete and utter incompetence on every level of writing and direction and editing. I think that's really what you ought to be aiming for.
I mean, Jeff Davis is the same, and he made Teen Wolf, which is amazing.
Well, sure. Yeah, I mean...
That's true. Yeah. It's just everything else.
Yes, but so the New Year's special this year was a continuation of the last one, which no one wanted or needed, because the last one, we can all agree, was not good television. Um, they last year they upped the stakes of the Daleks, which are routinely described as the most dangerous threats in the universe.
They're
They
now
made an even
God.
deadlier one. It was called a Recon Dalek, which definitely should be more deadly than a regular Dalek, rather than like a spy that goes in, doesn't have as many, like it doesn't make sense. Why would the Recon Dalek be more? No, I'm getting there. I'm getting to the SAS Daleks. The Recon Daleks shouldn't have been OP. The SAS Daleks, which apparently exist now, are even stupider. Why is there a special class of Daleks that are somehow more deadly? We weren't told how they were more deadly. They didn't seem to be more deadly. They did, but Daleks can do that anyway. It doesn't matter. Like,
I thought other Daleks couldn't fire on other Daleks because they thought they were too pretty or something.
well, the thing. Okay, I'm getting to that as well. The the Daleks that we started the episode with, were clones of the Recon Dalek from the previous New Year's episode. Um,
Okay.
and so for some reason, it's unclear why the SAS Daleks thought that these Daleks were impure. Um, they shouldn't have been because they were clones of a pure Dalek. And the Daleks don't have a thing against cloning. They're really perfectly fine with cloning, so it's really unclear why these other ones were considered unpure.
It was just a
Like
dumb
the
decision.
shell was different; it had different like gadgets and stuff, but that shouldn't have been an issue either because there are Daleks with other gadgets, and they can also like replace the items of the they can replace the components of the shell without compromising their Dalek integrity. So it doesn't hold up that this would be like a conflict between these two Daleks. They like if they made this play and had tried to like make them destroy each other or whatever, they should have just teamed up and like taken over the Earth because that's makes like that. Why would they not?
Yeah.
The Daleks also worked for the human a bit, which like is against the whole thing. They wouldn't have done that. Like even when it advantages them to work with other people, they don't do that. That's like part of the whole thing. They cannot stand to work with anyone that's not a Dalek. So them working with a human, even as briefly as they did, doesn't make sense. Um, also, I mean, it was all bad. Like there weren't really anything. There wasn't really anything good to say about it. I mean, Jack was there. We like Jack. Oh, yeah, that was like it was good, but it was also like we should have had this conversation like at least last season, probably before. Like it was not a lot. It was like, and also the Doctor was still having the same like existential identity crisis as she was last episode, despite the fact that she resolved that in the episode, and like got on with it. And it was like, well, why are you back to this now? Like, what? What? Also, the Doctor was in prison for 30 years in between this episode and the previous episode, and it wasn't acknowledged by anyone.
Taking plot points from Rick and Morty now.
Yeah. It also, this episode straight up just plagiarized an old episode of Doctor Who, but it wasn't even a good episode of Doctor Who. It was like one of the shit early Moffat ones. It was the Victory of the Daleks one with Churchill, and like where there's Daleks, but they're not really Daleks, and they're like hiding, and there's a prime minister's involved, and it's like it was bad. Um, it was not good. Chibnall ripped off an episode of Doctor Who that wasn't even a good one, and that's baffling to me. I don't know if he thought he was improving it, but he wasn't. um, there was also this marks the second time we've had a fictional female prime minister who has just straight up been a terrible person. um, yes, and she also got murdered in episode, and I'm worried that they're not going to acknowledge the fact that the prime minister was murdered by a Dalek on live television in this episode. Um, I'm worried that they're not going to carry that forward based on their track record with this kind of thing. Um, like honestly, at this point, why is Unit still decommissioned? Bring Unit back. Clearly, you still need them. Like what? Um, yeah, they yeah, yeah. Like bring Torture back or something. Like you need something. Um, Jack also like we love Jack obviously. Um, but everything he said sounded like it was someone was writing fan fiction of him. Like it was not quite there. The voice was not quite there. Um, and a lot of what he said was also like exposition, or just over explaining things, uh, which was just not great. Um, like they could have done it well, but they kind of didn't. It was just a bit flat and a bit rubbish. Um, They finally reduced Team TARDIS down, which is something we have been saying for a while needs to happen because there's just too many companions. Um, I don't like it's still kind of annoying because they obviously didn't give a great deal of development to these companions before they had them leave. So it feels a bit like they did a whole like scene where it's like, oh, the fam's breaking up. It's like, okay, but did we care? Did we care about this group that much and this dynamic that much? Like, no, because they don't have a dynamic because they're kind of just there as props
Yeah.
for whatever. Like, they are in episodes to solve elements of the like latest apocalypse, and they don't have any personalities or ambitions. So it's like, okay. um, what else? I'm sure there's other things that we talked about. Um, hmm, I mean, every time that Chibnall tries to write anything meaningful, he's like just goes absolutely like no subtlety. All nuance is obliterated when Chibnall tries to be political. Um, like he doesn't know the meaning of subtlety or anything like that. It's just like we're just ham-fisted like allegorical things that are like even barely allegorical. Like they're almost literal, um,
Yeah.
which
I
isn't.
remember that from watching the season.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
good.
So bad. It's
Ah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. This whole crew could be great if they'd written it good. um, yeah, it's. And now we're on a one-on-one Doctor Companion duo now, which is in theory good, but I'm also filled with fear that they're gonna try and do something romantic between the Doctor and Yaz, and I don't want that. Um, I mean, you can accuse me of being homophobic, but I am in fact a homosexual. But it's
You're
really.
gonna accuse me of being homophobic, but I am in fact homophobic. In this house, we are.
This is my coming out video as homophobic. Um, um, but yeah, no, I just don't. I don't like the vibes of that concept. And I mean, at the very least, I'm not looking forward to the fandom going batshit insane over every little thing. Like, even if it doesn't end up being canon, they're still gonna do that forever, and it's gonna annoy me a lot. I think that's maybe wrapping up my rant there. That's everything I can think of. I mean, there's probably more, but that seems like it was. I went on for a while. No, fuck you all.
Remember to like and subscribe.